Polly posted her agenda.
Okay, call the City of Buellton Council meeting to order for June 14th, 2018. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Me. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Linda?
Okay, roll call. Councilmember Andrusik.
Here.
Councilmember Mercado.
Here.
Vice Mayor King.
Here.
And Mayor Sierra.
Here. And Mayor Sierra will be on teleconference for this meeting. Okay. Any reordering of the agenda, Mark?
No, sir.
And we have some speaker slips for public comments. First one I have here is Caroline. Would you like to step up to the podium? And if you'd please give your name and address.
My name is Caroline, and I live in Goleta on Glen Annie Road. Members of the Buellton City Council, thank you for allowing me to speak with you. My name is Caroline, and I support President Trump. President Trump and his administration have been working very hard with tireless dedication and commitment to solve the most difficult, challenging, and complex problems with which our nation is faced. Because these problems have been left unresolved for so many years, they have now become a serious threat to the well-being of our country. One of these problems is our nation's immigration policy and border security. I received this email from President Trump regarding his approach to immigration and border security, and I would like to read part of it now. My first duty as president is to keep the American people safe, and that obligation guides my approach to immigration and border security. Immigration to the United States is a privilege and not a right, and there are good reasons for that. Being a citizen in a democracy is a big responsibility. The federal government has the responsibility to enforce all laws passed by Congress, to rigorously vet and screen all foreign nationals seeking entry into the United States, and to keep drugs, criminals, and terrorists from entering our country and threatening our citizens. Additionally, we must have responsible controls on the future entry of foreign workers to protect jobs and wages for existing United States workers of all backgrounds. I have issued an executive order to help accomplish this goal, as I promised during my campaign. Further, we have achieved a record reduction in illegal immigration on the southern border, an effort that requires constant vigilance against a wide array of threats and challenges. We are also taking action to confront unlawful sanctuary city jurisdictions that dangerously shield criminal aliens. Moreover, I continue to press Congress to end the visa lottery and extended family chain migration, and to provide a permanent solution for the status of Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, also known as DACA recipients, and to move toward a merit-based immigration system. Crucially, we have begun planning and preparation for the border wall, which we need to stop the trafficking of drugs, guns, weapons, and people. If we continue to enforce our laws and protect our communities, families, and struggling workers, we will reduce our deficit, increase incomes, and make our communities safer for each and every American, both now and in the future. May God continue to bless the United States of America. Sincerely, Donald Trump, President of the United States of America. President Trump's accomplishments with border security and immigration are making our country safer for everyone, and he should have the support of every American. Members of the Buellton City Council, thank you for allowing me to speak with you, and to everyone listening, may you have a very good evening.
Thank you. Thank you. And next up we have Finn.
Finn Lower, 546 Blue Blossom. A while back, some people decided it would be real nice to have some art in town. Therefore, they decided to put up some wine racks, is what I call them. I don't know what else they're called. To begin with, they looked pretty nice. And it was interesting and new, and that's what a town should be. Now, unfortunately, they're now an eyesore, and I don't know what people think about it when they come into town. They need to be maintained. The 2-foot-high grass that grows inside of them need to be cut, please. Or, if that is impossible, because they're heavy, please locate them somewhere else outside of Buellton. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ken. And certainly last but not least, Kathy Breland.
Good evening, Council. Just a quick couple things from us. This year marks the 50th anniversary for the Avenue flags. So if you recall, Ronald Reagan was governor at the time, and he came down and dedicated the avenue to the city of Buellton along with Vince Evans when they moved the freeway to where it is today. So to mark and commemorate the 50th anniversary, we're wanting to rededicate, if you will, and kind of celebrate that this year. It'll take place in September. So we are working on a small event around it, kind of just more of an occasion, not a whole day event by any means, but just an occasion to go ahead and rededicate and celebrate the avenue at the 50th anniversary. So September 22nd, we've scheduled that date to hopefully do the ceremony and program. We've also invited President Reagan's son, Michael Reagan, and his family, and they will be joining us for this day as well. So he and his wife and his daughter Ashley will be attending. And we're trying to incorporate as many people as we can to help. It's a big deal, and we want to make sure we do it right. We've reached out to the city council, I think maybe, and I know city, and I've reached out to Kyle, and he's helping us with the rec center. Our historical society is getting involved as well and coming up with some nice program, working with Charlie Ruig on music, and just trying to really make it a nice celebration. Of course, our Chamber and Visitors Bureau, and then our local scouts, we talked to them yesterday, and they may help with putting some flags out on the avenue too. So any support you can have, we'll be reaching out to you for help, I'm sure, and I'll talk with Mark more in detail about it. Once we get some things locked down, we're just trying to get what it's going to look like and what it's going to be. And but we do have the date, September 22nd, earmarked for this. And again, we want to celebrate and rededicate the avenue and kind of highlight where we're going. And now that we have a specific plan and whatnot, hopefully we can make it go forward. So that's coming up, so mark your calendars. And then also, I'll leave some of these with you. We have our new Chamber of Commerce, our new business directory and community guide. So this has all of our members listed, a lot of great advertisers, and then also some good information on Buellton itself, some of the statistics and data around our city, some important numbers. We have a nice map of the city in here as well. So it's a nice for relocation as well. So all of our community members will be getting it. We've distributed to the hotels, and we'll have them, of course, in the visitor center too. So I'll leave some of these here with you guys tonight. Help yourself. Thank you.
Okay,
That's
perfect.
it.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you for the warning, too. I mean, we've got enough time to put something together, I think.
For the event.
September.
Yes, yes. We
Instead
need
of it's
all the
next
heads
week.
we can. All the help we can.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the consent calendar. First off is minutes of May 24th, 2018, regular city council meeting, which I'm going to recuse myself from. List of claims to be ratified and approved for payment to date for fiscal year 2017-18. Resolution 1815, a resolution of the City Council, City of Buellton, California, acknowledging receipt of and ordering the filing of the annual statement investment policy for fiscal year 1819 with the City Council. Resolution number 1816, a resolution of the City Council, City of Buellton, California, establishing an appropriation limit for fiscal year 2018-19. Number 5, biennial review of conflict of interest code, and number 6, reduction of bond for crossroads development. Any?
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval
Vice
of
Mayor?
items 1 through 6.
Vice Mayor King,
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to pull agenda item 6,
Okay, and we'll be pulling,
the reductions for bonds for Crossroads Development.
okay, we'll be pulling that off for discussion.
So I'll modify my motion to approve items 1 through 5.
I'll second.
Okay, Councilmember Andrusik,
Aye.
Councilmember Mercado,
Aye.
Vice Mayor King,
Aye.
and Mayor Sierra.
Aye. Vice Mayor King, I guess I just wanted our city manager to clarify. I talked to him earlier. I talked to our city attorney, Steve McEwen. I know that public record shows that some of the developers were in the red, owing the city money, and I had a concern about this, and the city manager explained it very well to me, and I was just hoping that he would clarify it for anybody who follows city council and would just make it so that everybody understands exactly what agenda item 6 is.
Right, they'd be happy to, and the city attorney may jump in to fill in any gaps that they may have, but the bonds are for the public improvements, and they're separate from other parts of the project, such as the inspections for grading and those types of things. So the public improvements are complete, or partially complete, and that's why we're recommending a reduction. So that's a totally separate issue from fees that are owed to us for inspecting the project. So it's totally separate type of action, and they've completed the improvements to the satisfaction of the city engineer, and that's why we're recommending a reduction in the bond.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate the clarification.
You're welcome.
And I also talked to Mark today about that, and this reduction is above what the actual cost were in case there are any other improvements that may have to take place, correct?
Right, so we've reduced it, and there's still some things to do, so we still have some money left to guarantee those public improvements.
Okay, correct.
So with that, I move to
You're breaking up, Holly.
Speak up.
You made the motion, Holly?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I made the motion to approve agenda item 6. I'm sorry. It's cutting in and out on me.
Okay, and I'll second that.
Okay, Mayor Sierra,
Aye.
Vice Mayor King,
Aye.
Councilmember Andrusik,
Aye.
and Councilmember Mercado.
Aye.
And thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving on from consent calendar. Do we have any presentations, Mark?
No, sir.
And public hearings, we have one tonight, which would be Resolution 1810, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Buellton, California, regarding the commitments and publishing regarding the commitments and publishing of the report required by Central Coast Water Authority Resolution 9202 and 9211.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, members, City Council. Before you tonight, we have our actual annual report as required by our contract with CCWA in regards to our state water project commitments. As part of our contract, we're required, every agency that's part of the contract is required to bring to their councils and boards an annual report regarding their water status and supplies. This is to ensure that the water that's used for their state water project allocation is used to supplement as far as their obligations for water needs and use in their local agencies. So what you have in addition to Resolution 1819 is Exhibit A, which is our annual water report for the year 2017. So in that, gives conditions of our groundwater supply, all the amount of water that we pumped, and the water that was used by our entire city for that year. We also have the forecast that shows over the next 5 years what we anticipate for water to increase as far as the use, but we do show that we have adequate supplies to be able to meet those demands. So, and one thing, like I stress with all of our water reports, while we are in a good shape as far as water supply, we still always stress conservation and continuity so that we have a sustainable stream of water for our community to last, for a good long period of time. We've not been in the situations like some of the southern cities where we're like really stressing for where our water is going to come from next.
Right.
So we're really fortunate to have a good supply of groundwater with our San Ynez River underflow, our Buellton uplands, and as well as being supplemented by the State Water Project. In the report, we've also got some sections that discuss our groundwater commitments with our new Groundwater Conservation Act, that we're part with the Central Committee in reviewing our groundwater conditions. So that'll be helpful in the years to come to really show the current status of our groundwater state. Our basins is not in an overdraft, at least according to older reports. So part of the groundwater committee is going to review and do current reports to see what the current situation is, and that'll help provide steps towards further long-term sustainability. In addition, there's a section report that also talks about things we're doing to conserve our water supply. So with that, staff recommends that council adopts resolution number 18-10, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Okay.
Vice Mayor, I have a question for Rose. Rose, do you have a rough idea, because this is an ongoing situation, what kind of expense do we have for the preparation of this?
For
I'm not sure.
this annual water supply,
Well,
I
rough
prepare
ballpark.
this. So this is prepared in-house.
Okay, so we're not, because it says publication costs
Publication
on
costs.
fiscal impact. The publication cost of the annual report.
Oh, the publication costs, it's a public notice. It's a public hearing, so there's whatever
we're
our
not
standard
printing
costs. Correct.
Okay.
This is available on the city's website.
So it's minimal?
Yeah, it's minimal. And we're not talking hundreds of dollars. I'm not sure exactly what the cost is
Maybe 200.
to print the
Okay.
public hearing
Okay.
notice, but that's
Thank
the
you.
only cost.
We get a lot of printed stuff. I just
Right.
want to know what we're spending on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Exactly.
With that,
Open public hearing.
Yeah, and I'm going to open that up for public hearing. Anybody in the audience like to speak on this issue? Nobody? Okay, we'll bring it back to council. Any further discussion or conversation?
Pretty
You're the water guy.
self-explanatory.
I would move for approval of the report, preparation,
I'll second.
Okay. Linda?
resolution.
Okay,
18.
Councilmember Andrusik,
Aye.
Councilmember Mercado,
Aye.
Vice Mayor King,
Aye.
and Mayor Sierra.
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Okay. Any council member comments? I know both Art and I went to some training recently. I'll defer to you.
I
Art.
have one, Vice Mayor.
Whoop.
Holly, go ahead.
I just wanted to, if the council meeting ends before 7 o'clock tonight, that Karen Hurst is giving her presentation at P.C. Anderson. She's a Buellton historian, 1925 to the 50s. And my thanks to Kathy Vreeland for getting this out to me on social media, since I've been unable to do that. That's it. Oh, also thanks to Ed Andrasik for going to the ribbon cutting for me yesterday.
That was going to be my report, but thank you for,
Now, when we get to committee, that's good.
okay, council member comments. Okay.
Go ahead.
Dave and I went to a fantastic seminar put on by the JPII down in Laguna Beach. I thought not only was it well presented, but the speakers were fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't talk above you, they didn't talk below you. They just were very factual, and it was a great 2 days. I really learned a lot, and I think we're going to the next one
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
September.
Yeah, that.
They were very informative. I mean, there's stuff that
Yeah, right.
you knew a little bit about, but they were able to explain some things, and the best part about it, you could some of the other cities that were being represented that had some other issues where Buellton didn't have any issues. So it was good to see that.
Right, yeah. And I did go to the same training. It actually was very informative with the fact that they were very good about explaining what JPIA does for the cities. And they had quite a few attorneys in there. They had the president of the JPIA. And it had a lot of insight as to things that cities need to do
Right.
in order to keep from getting sued. Have you been to those, Mark? Have you been?
Yes, I have.
Oh yeah. It was outstanding. I really enjoyed it. And like Art said, the paces were real good, and these guys were great speakers, so it wasn't a snooze fest.
Right. And then just meeting some other people who were there, people who have been to Buellton for various reasons, but they want to come back. and see our little town and enjoy our wines and stuff like that. So it was good to visit with them.
Yeah, good. And Mark, did they talk about, or did you talk about the library? The library committee meeting that we had, was that in the last meeting when I was not at?
I think I did brief you a little bit about the libraries, but not in just through email. So you might want to bring yours up.
Yeah, and the decision had, and the gist of it was that the committee decided to go to the Board of Supervisors and have them pretty much keep everything status quo until we at least find out what Goleta's going to do. So the Board of Supervisors, and I did read that they have made that decision to.
That is correct. So.
Rescind what they had done previously, so we're all in the good. Okay, anything else? Nope. Mark, written communications?
No, sir.
Any committee reports?
None? Nope, haven't had a meeting yet.
Okay.
So nothing's met. CCWA did not, they'll meet this week.
What about the
ribbon cutting?
Ribbon cutting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Holly pretty well covered it. But
okay.
We did have the supervisor, Hartman was there, spoke. The SB CAG was there and able to answer questions. Highway Patrol was able to speak to the need for it. It is Project A, and they are asking that we get behind Project B. They want to try to move that, get that funding approved. Apparently, it's not quite ironed out yet, but I think if they have a great reputation with their performance there, and everybody, the questions we asked, they were able to just answer exactly what, instead of "I'll get back to you," which was very helpful.
Okay. Business items?
No, sir.
No business items.
The only business item I had, and I kind of talked a little bit with Mark, it's not really a business item, but it was more like council comment about it was just the appearance of the week, and Ben is he's already begun his request for improving
and I'll put that in my city manager report.
Okay.
I'll address.
Okay, then you're going to come.
Yeah.
But we had that was my only concern, was the appearance of the drive-by.
Okay. And Debbie, we're way past this.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got stuck on the computer.
It's okay. If you want to call me, if any questions that you have, or call Mark, feel free to do that.
That's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so busy. I apologize for being late. It's
It's the modern world, right? City manager's report.
Thank you, and I'll start with the weeds. We do every year, we have our nuisance ordinance, so you know, when the weeds get too tall, it's not only ugly, but it's also a fire hazard. So every year we do weed control, send letters out to properties to start cutting the weeds down. So you saw that 518 Avenues, their weeds got knocked down, the Koi Places, weeds got knocked down, the old Tres Rosas and the Palm Reader. The letter went to them, they just have not got to it yet. But all the weeds in the different areas will be cut down, just like Caltrans does with theirs. And I think they're hitting Buellton finally, so those weeds are getting knocked down by Caltrans.
Right. And where are we with that issue on the avenue that Steve Lichten brought up?
That has been taken care of.
In the process.
Yes. The next day, Rose was out there with, was it with Alan? And Steve, the day after that council meeting, addressing it. So we've figured out a plan of action for that, so that should not occur again.
And you know, I did drive up there, and I just didn't look. So
and
bad on me.
And as far as the artwork, I'm going to contact the county arts commission about it and see if there's some solution. Maybe we can get them raised and put some tarp underneath them or something like that. So we will take a look at that. They thought, little grass growing might be, looking nice, but it is getting a little out of hand.
But in giving it a little thought, because they may not, it is very heavy. I tried to lift one.
Oh, well, it has to be a crane. They can't. So we'll be looking into that.
But I would suggest the consideration of, because Roundup is a wonderful thing. It works very effectively if we control if you put a cardboard barrier, it would be the cost of the sod to replace it once they're gone, And I think that would...
And that's a meeting we're planning to redo anyway, so that's not an issue.
I think we could be very proactive in a short period of time.
I'll talk to Rose, maybe we can talk to Alan about some
Alan
solution
could
out there
contain the
as well. But
overflow, just so we don't have a whole island dead.
we've, now that the Avenue-specific plan is adopted, we're starting our dog and pony show. Irma made a presentation to the Buellton Rotary this morning that was very well received. And we're going to get a press release out to all the papers and then start hitting the road of whoever wants to hear us talk. So Irma did a really good and has a nice, concise presentation regarding what's out there. The Planning Commission did recommend approval of the marijuana regulations, so that'll be coming to the City Council on July 12th, and it's basically the prohibition that the Council directed. They had no issue with that, and we're moving forward with the wording that the City Attorney put together. We had another issue with dust control, as I've informed the council, at the townhomes project. They now have a truck out there. They will be on call during wind events, and they are getting a fine this time, and I've already talked to Gavin Moores about that. So they are aware that, you know, we don't have to tell them there's wind coming. If they see wind, they need to get their guys out there to take care of it.
When isn't there wind?
Well, the big wind events over the weekend that really were kind of significant.
Well, can't beat it. I mean, it's in
Yeah.
the news for the last 4 days.
That is the end of my report.
Okay. Anything from our city attorney?
No, Mr. Mayor, I don't have any report this week. Well, I will add that we are progressing toward the resolution of the Crossroads situation completely and may come back in July with a final report on that.
Okay, perfect. Anything else? Good. Okay, I adjourn this meeting, June 14th, 2018. Next meeting will be July 12th, because the June 24th, is it? What's the one that we canceled?
June 26th.
June 28th is canceled, and July